You're tuned into the Fresh Ice Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Zeno Pucks. Here are your hosts, Andy and Brian Matusi.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
What?
Oh my god! You could have given me a million guesses, and I was not guessing that was what was coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, how's that for a show intro?
That might be the worst one we've ever had, and the worst one we ever will have.
Well, it's the one we've got. So,
oh boy. Well, we're back. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We're actually doing the show together in person for once. We're not over the internet.
If you can't tell by the awesome audio quality you're probably hearing right now that we can't hear, but
yeah, I was gonna say no headphones, no sound check, just microphone and
just raw dog in the podcast.
But anyways, well, we don't actually have a lot here. We're gonna end up doing the standing show next weekend because this weekend we have a Super Bowl to watch, and it's already too late to do a 2-hour show. So
Correct.
Here we are. Though really the only thing big that happened as we went into the Olympic break this week was the Panarin trade to LA from the New York Rangers. So Rangers kind of in a tough spot. Panarin wants to move. He makes it extremely clear LA is where he wants to go. So the Rangers kind of have their hands tied behind their back, and they ship him out to LA for basically a bag of pucks as far as most people seem to be concerned. I haven't really been high on LA since the beginning of this season, but trade certainly makes them better. I mean, Panarin's game lacks a lot of dimensional depth or a lot of defensive depth to it, but he's a very one-dimensional player is what I was trying to get at. He's an elite scorer, still one of the best in the league, even in his 11th season now. But I don't think he really helps LA on the defensive side of their game, which they don't need a lot. They do defend pretty well. I just wonder if this is the right move for them. I really don't think this was the piece, as we always talk about, that pushes that needle. I just don't see it here.
Of all the places for him to end up, like you just said at the start of the show, you could have given me 1,000 guesses, and I never would have guessed LA. So
yeah, I would have thought Florida would have made sense. The problem is they dipped so far away from the playoff race that probably changed his mind if he was considering Florida.
Well, at that point, even if he goes to Florida, I was going to say they'd be in a financial pickle anyway, but that wouldn't be a long-term move for them.
Yeah.
Regardless. But yeah, I think that kind of goes out the window, seeing as how Florida's kind of struggling to get themselves back in it now.
Another team, I think Detroit and Carolina were also trying to get on him. Russo reported that Minnesota may have been on him originally, but Minnesota needs a center. It's abundantly clear that team's as loaded as it needs to be on the wings. They need a center. And Detroit too, I actually think has some pretty good scoring. I just think loading up on defense even more could help them, but you kind of don't want to mess with what's worked over there for them this season either.
Yeah, I'm with you, but ultimately I'm just trying to look at this. I'm just not seeing the logic behind him going to LA. So
I mean, they're in the playoff hunt for sure. I mean, they've been in the mix again. I didn't give them enough credit at the start of the season. I undervalued what Adrian Kempe and Kevin Fiala provide to that team. Obviously, you're going to get great play out of Kopitar no matter what. But looking at the standings right now here, if you look at LA, I mean, they're fifth in the division, but it's a tight fifth. Like Vegas has a pretty sizable lead on everybody. But Anaheim's got 63, Seattle's got 63, the Oilers have 64, LA's got 60. So they're right in the mix. And I would say as one of the better defensive teams in the league, adding a big scorer might be exactly what they need. I mean, famously, they were one of the best defensive teams in the league. 14 years ago, they go and get Jeff Carter from Columbus, and that was the big scoring winger or the big scoring player they needed to bolster the offense, and it helped win them 2 Stanley Cups. So maybe they're hoping to have lightning strike twice here and kind of do the same thing, but I don't know that this team is built well enough to have Artemi Panarin be what puts you over the top.
Well, that's exactly where my confusion lies right now. Is there's other factors to be looking at here, and I'm not taking a dig at Artemi Panarin, but like you just said, this is not the guy that's gonna. Given the situation you're in, this isn't going to be where he's the guy that comes in and pushes you over the top. I think there were obviously Jeff Carter was a huge part of those Kings team.
Well, and he was. The other thing, though, is Jeff Carter was much better two-way player. I mean, he could score. He definitely added to LA's offense and was part of the reason they won a really good part of the reason they won the second cup with that 70s line that they had. But Panarin's game doesn't echo anything nearly the same. I mean, he's an elite scorer. He's one of the best shooters in the league. He skates really well, but he can't defend. And obviously, being a winger, he's not taking faceoffs for you. So I think it's a way different scenario. LA's trying to accomplish the same thing essentially, but using a way different player to try and do it. And again, for a team that's still in the mix right now, I really don't think this is the right move for them.
Right. And, one thing I want to clarify too, and I don't even know if you'll remember this, but Artemi Panarin's first year in the league, he was on Chicago and he was on a line with Patrick Kane. I don't know if you remember me saying, it might not have been you. It might have been our buddy John. I said it too, but I was like, this kid's going to be the best player in the league. Watch. Major over assumption on my part. And now I'm not taking away from anything he's done because he still is a terrific player.
Good player.
Yes, he is. But at that time, he looked like a god among men because he was on a line with Patrick Kane, feeding him every pass he ever saw.
Yeah.
So it's easy to look elite when you're playing with a guy, and that was prime Patty Kane too. So big difference here. But again, that's not to take away from anything Panarin's done because he still is a very good hockey player. But
LA's not close enough to this. If he would have went to like Dallas, I think that's a move that puts them over the top.
100%.
Because they're already so loaded everywhere they really need to be that adding yet another scorer, I think that's the kind of team that goes over the top. I think like Carolina, that's the kind of team that goes over the top with a move like this. Not LA. I just don't think this is right.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, the trade makes no sense, but it is what it is. And for more obvious reasons than just one, I'm not an NHL GM, so I don't get to make decisions. But to me, this is a trade that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, I agree 100%. It's goofy, but it's done now. Panarin also extending 2 more years with LA within like an hour of the contract, or within an hour of the trade being performed. So, all right, let's take a quick break here. We'll hear from Xenopucks when we come back. We'll talk about the Blue Jackets game that we were at, as well as just the run they've been on in general. This is a Fresh Ice Hockey Podcast.
It's hockey season, and you're looking to work on your stick handling or maybe even your shot, but ice time just isn't an option for you right now. Luckily, our buddies over at Xenopucks have got you covered. They've developed an elite off-ice practice puck that, in addition to looking like the real thing, is the same size and weight as a regulation hockey puck to give you that authentic feel on the end of your stick. It works better than other off-ice practice pucks on almost any surface, whether you use it on hardwood, carpet, concrete, or even asphalt. Xenopucks glide like a real puck on ice. So if you're looking to improve your game without setting foot on the ice, head over to www.xenopucks.com and get yourself a puck. Check out their merch selection and be sure to follow them on Instagram at Xenopucks.
So you and I were at the Jackets game with our wives on Wednesday night against Chicago. Great game to be at.
Elite game to be at.
It was an outstanding game. Jackets get the shutout 4-0 on that one. A lot of red in that building, though. I was pretty disappointed on the turnout by Jackets fans, especially for the final game before the break.
It had to be about perspective because you and I were sitting in different ends of the arena, and to me, I didn't see a sea of red. But from where you were, you said you saw it.
Well, I have a biased tiebreaker. My wife's here. And she could tell you that you're full of shit. No, from where we were sitting, it definitely looked like there was a lot of red. That's all I'll say. But again, just for the last night before the break, I would have been hopeful that there were a lot more Jackets fans there. But ultimately, the ones that were there go home happy. Just a really good game. Elvis and Jet with a pair of shutouts to wrap up into the break. I think they've won now 10 of their last 11. Zach Werenski's on pace to break the franchise record for most points in a season. So things are really ticking up for the Jackets at the right time. Obviously, this break could have a huge impact on them going forward with one of their goalies and their best defenseman being in the Olympics. But if they can hit the ground running when they come back from this Olympic break, they could really make a good push and get into the playoffs here. I'm really glad we didn't pull the chute, like I said before, and give up on the season because the team in what essentially was the 11th hour here has pulled it together and got themselves into a playoff race. And now it's anybody's spot, really.
Yeah. We talked about this last week, and I think even the week before. I think it's really going to depend on can they carry this momentum through the Olympic break.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's truly, especially now having seen them play like this in person,
they look good.
that is truly my only concern is will the Olympic break cause problems for momentum?
The good thing is, momentum aside, is that most of these guys are going to get 2 weeks to get their bodies refreshed. So guys that are fighting something right now have a chance to heal up, but Zach Werenski's got to hopefully stay healthy, and Elvis as well while he's in net for Latvia.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens for them, but yeah, they're definitely rolling, and now it is extremely believable. And the more with each passing game, more and more likely that they're going to climb back into this here. So hopefully everyone stays healthy and they continue to play well. But the structure under Bones has been really good. They just look more confident. It never feels like it never seems like they're overwhelmed on the ice. It pretty much feels like they're always in control. So it's an exciting time to be watching and cheering for them right now. They're really starting to put something special together, I think, under this new coaching regime.
When we were there, I turned to my wife 5 minutes into the game and I said, this is a completely different hockey team than what I've seen this year out of them. It was incredible. They probably also had a good morale boost. Jeff Rimmer in the house.
All in the game, yep.
Unfortunately for us, and then I'm going to preface this by saying there is no bad blood here against the Columbus Blue Jackets at all. But I spoke to Jeff earlier that morning on game day, and he informed me that the Blue Jackets contacted him and said no outside visitors for tonight. The logic behind it is very valid. It's nobody's business except ours and Jeff's as well as the Blue Jackets. Nonetheless, I did tell Jeff, as long as we get a Jackets win tonight, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great night. And sure enough, it was. And then the cool part was I got to go home and then watch the highlights on my phone and listen to Rims call the goals. So all in all, a good time. Jeff is still coming back on our show. He said he's more than happy to come back anytime we want him to. His book's getting ready to come out too, so we're very excited about that. And, he did inform me that we will meet up in person still. So ultimately, the Columbus Blue Jackets stepped in and said, not tonight, boys. That's the team. They make the rules. Nothing we can do about it. I know we were bummed out a little bit. Jeff was bummed out as well, but all worked out. So,
yeah, I mean, it was still a hell of a game to be at anyways. I mean, it does suck that we were essentially like, hey, today's the day after all these months. And, but ultimately we still got to go to the game and still had a blast and they still won. And yeah, they did. They just looked really good. They shut down Bedard really well. He only had one or two real good looks, but they obviously kept the whole team off the scoreboard. So all in all, still a very good night, save for a little chaos on the drive down there. But that's a different story for a different time. Nonetheless, it was a really good night and an exciting way to end things for them right now with this hot run to go into the Olympic break.
Yeah, I would say like I said, my only concern is the momentum killer that is the long break. But hopefully, like you said, it's a time where guys are using the time to heal themselves and then they come back guns a-blazing. Ultimately, I don't have any concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, if this team is as good as they've been playing, this shouldn't be an issue for them.
Yep.
So I think we'll be okay. I'm excited to watch some Olympic hockey this week. And, I am excited. Again, bummed that we didn't get to beat Rims in person this time around, but we're still going to, and I am very much excited about that.
Who you got for the Olympics, men's and women's? I mean, the USA women's team is already off to an insanely hot start.
They are.
But who you got?
All across the board for gold.
Yeah, gold in both. Who do you think?
All right, gold. I'm gonna say. Maybe I'll get crucified for this, but I'm gonna say for women's gold, USA all the way.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk pick for me too. They're just they have way better players. A lot of Canada's best stars are either no longer playing or in the back nine, and so much of the U.S.'s talent is still so young. I mean, you could rattle off countless names on that team. Minnesota's got 5 or 6 players alone on that roster, and or in the Olympics in general. But there's so many good players on that U.S. women's team. I just don't think even Canada can keep up with them. And for men's, I gotta go Canada. I think we have them outmatched in the goaltending department, but Canada, they play way better as a team. The skill is just a little bit higher overall, even though I like the USA's overall defensive core better. Canada's just got too many horses on up front.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I will say this. USA's definitely got a chance.
Yeah, but you look across the ice, and 1, 2, 3 down the middle for Canada is McDavid, McKinnon, and then Crosby's playing the third line.
That tells you what you need to know.
McDavid's playing or McKinnon's playing the second line. That tells you what you need to know too. That's just a really talented roster. The thing that will save the United States if they are to win gold is that they have the better defensive core and definitely have the better goaltending. I think Canada's lone weakness is that they really don't have a great goalie. And last year they had Binnington, who was on fire going into the Four Nations, but this year it's really not the case. So we'll see how things shake out for them in the Olympics. But overall, I would still probably give the edge to Canada. I just think that forward group is too talented.
I'll back you up and say Canada on gold, but I will say this: if it's not Canada, then it's the USA.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be nobody else.
Canada.
Yeah,
both those teams are too good, and if either of them miss the gold medal game, it's a letdown for that country.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no reason.
Too good to not be facing each other in the gold medal game.
Yeah, I mean, if neither of these teams makes the gold medal game, I'll be disappointed, regardless of which one of them it is that doesn't make it. Yeah. I mean, both teams are just so stacked and disgusting to look at.
And the U.S. and Canada for women's is kind of the same thing. I think the gap between U.S. and Canada is a little bit greater for the women's, but overall, those are still the two best programs. And if that's not the gold medal game, then whoever's not in that is going to be pretty upset because the talent is definitely there for both countries.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The one thing we've learned with this game is anything can happen.
Yeah, and I shouldn't be so dismissive of the Canadian women's team. They have great leadership and great goaltending. So it's not like they're pushovers. I just think the USA squad is that good.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And we got a preview of this, you and I, back in November in person. We watched them play each other, and the performance difference between the USA and Canada was like night and day difference. USA outplayed the shit out of Canada. Yeah. So that's the women's teams we're talking, but it was elite level hockey. That was one of my favorite hockey games I've ever been to in my life. So I really don't see any situation where women's USA doesn't win gold.
Yeah, they still should, I think, ultimately. Canada's squad is so good, but USA, I just think it's that much better. And there's still women on that team that won the gold medal in 2018. Like, I always pump Lee Steckline's tires because I think she's the best women's defensive player ever. And I still think that. But, like, Kendall Coyne was on that team. Maddie Rooney was 18 and was the goalie for that gold medal team, which is crazy. She's a two-time Walter Cup champ as well.
Yeah.
But, like, there's still a lot of good players that won gold with that previous team. And they're supported by great, even younger talent now. When you think of like Taylor Heisey, I mean, she's the first name. I mean, she's kind of a superstar in the PWHL. So, I mean, it's the first name that comes to mind. But the roster's just loaded top to bottom. And yeah, I think it would be a letdown if they don't win gold.
I would have to agree with you, but as far as the men go, who the fuck?
Someone's calling him right now.
That's my buddy.
Tell him not to call.
But I think with the men's, you're right. Canada, yeah.
Don't sleep on Sweden in the men's Olympics either. That's a really
good team,
really gifted defensive team with 3 pain in the ass goalies. Although I will say, after I said Markstrom's your guy, and then he gave up 9 the next night, I was like, oh, maybe not. But Gustafsson and Wallstedt are their other 2 options, and I can say from experience that both those guys are reliable. Wallstedt, if he locks in early, is unbeatable.
Yeah, Swedes are good hockey players too. It's just the way it is.
There's a lot of good scoring talent, a lot of good defensive talent on those teams. So don't sleep on them. I hate to not include Finland in this, but again, Barkov's not there, and that immediately takes the one out of your sails. I mean, it's done that exact effect to the Panthers this year, and I think Team Finland is just going to be too overmatched by some of these other countries. But you never know. Saros or whoever could get hot for them, probably Luukkonen actually will be the guy with how hot the Sabres are.
Yeah.
But even still, I don't know if there's enough there to overcome those 3 other giants, Sweden, Canada, and the United States.
I don't think so. I think that's probably going to be how it's placed. I bet you it's going to go Canada, USA, Sweden. That's going to be the final rankings.
I'm so glad the gold medal game's on a Sunday. Oh my god!
Yeah,
with the goofy time zones, I'm like, just make it on a Sunday. Although it's going to be at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m., which is going to be weird.
Yeah,
8 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're in the Pacific time zone, you're going to be getting up at 4 a.m. for that gold medal game. That's a hell of a time to get up. But when we do our episode next week, we're going to do the standings, kind of go over where everything's at in the league, talk about what's happened during the Olympics. And then, should be pretty breezy next week. Otherwise, there won't be NHL action to talk about. So just whatever's going on with the standings and whatever's going on with the Olympics.
This might be the shortest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, it's certainly one of them.
It's definitely in the top 3 shortest.
Yeah, and it ain't 2 or 3.
Yeah.
All right, well, everybody have a great week. Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
Who do I have or who do I want?
Who do you want?
The Seahawks.
What do you have?
The Patriots.
All right, I'm going to go Seahawks.
I hope to God it's the Seahawks. I really do.
I think Seattle's defense is that good.
I just want to see Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. That'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be funny after the Vikings didn't want him.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So, all right, everybody have a great week. We will be back with you next week and talk about Olympics and talk about NHL standings. Have a good one.